good. I'm preparing the
Fantastic.
All right, let's see if this is gonna work. All right, we are now live. Okay, so we are now live with our Thursday's top tips in real estate. So thank you all for joining me here today. It's very exciting, and I'm glad to add this new addition to our weekly live videos that we are doing. For those of you guys tuning in on our live on Facebook, we want to just educate you guys on what's going on with our market because we find it so important. We know that there's a lot of hoopla out there, and we want to make sure that you guys are getting the proper information out there. So we are going to be here every week, and we're going to make sure that you guys are educated. We're going to talk about different things each week about just what's going on in our market after COVID-19. You know, a lot of people are worried, but we want to make sure that you guys are as informed as you can be. So thank you guys all for coming today, and we're going to kind of pop right into this right now. Each of you guys are gonna have an opportunity to be able to speak and just say, you know, how are things going on in your industry right now from your perspective, and like what's the biggest changes you've seen since COVID-19? What's been the biggest changes in the past few weeks to now? Like how's the market doing right now? We're all very eager to hear your expert opinions. So you guys know the order, and first is gonna be Antonella. So I will go ahead and spotlight your screen so that you can speak and everybody knows what you're doing. So you are now spotlighted.
Hi guys. So this is Antonella Zervopoulos. I'm a real estate agent with Atlantic Shores Realty. And just like Lucy was saying, I've seen a lot of changes in the market recently in regards to how we're doing business. And you know, I see how technology already was our friend before COVID in portraying all the beautiful properties that we all want to sell, and you know, all the buyers out there looking at. But the step further that we're taking nowadays is the fact that we're taking all of our customers on our journey. So whenever we go and see the property, we can show you the property directly with our phone in our hands, and give all of our customers, you know, a better perspective of how the property looks like. So instead of, you know, all our customers just looking at the picture, that now they can see better all the details. And that's exactly what I've been doing lately with a few of my customers, you know, where they call me and they're like, hey, Antonella, can you go and show me this property at address so-and-so? And every time that I go there and I take my customers with me, with my handy phone, all of a sudden, you know, they're like, oh, can you zoom in this? Sorry. Can you zoom in into this room, or can you zoom in into that detail? And all of a sudden, everything becomes a little more, you know, personal and personable, and, you know, not only showing the property, but also show, you know, your personality, just, you know, like just happened. And, you know, we can also show around the neighborhood too. You know, there have been a couple of times where, you know, my customer were like, well, you know, I like the house, but what it looks like on the outside. So, you know, I take them with me on, you know, on the Skype call. I don't recommend everybody to do this because probably is not the best and safest thing to do, but like I keep my phone on as I'm driving so that they realize a little bit, you know, what's going on here in Port St. Lucie in different part of, you know, the city. So I took a couple with me on the long Crosstown Parkway drive. So that's definitely something different, I guess.
Very nice. No, that's innovative, and it's all about those innovative ways that we're all working, you know, to help our clients, you know. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Antonella, for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. So then next we have Alannah.
Hi there.
And I'm going to spotlight your video right now. So now you're spotlighted.
Ooh, there I am. Hi. So I've noticed, personally, I've noticed a lot more interest in engaging with a professional to, you know, kind of try to figure out those next steps. My conversations over these last couple of months has been fantastic. And to your point, I noticed also that I'm getting asked to do more virtual tours. And I actually ended up getting almost exactly what it is you're talking about. I got one of those little containers that it squeezes your phone on either side, and it has an attachment where you can either plug it into your AC outlet so that they can see you, or you can squish it right onto your dashboard and face it out so that your client can see, you know. And I took them all up and down Cove Road, and we were going through River Pines and going through Miles Grant. And it was just wonderful to have such a well-received tour. And I'm finding that's becoming more and more common as people are being conditioned into more of a digital platform of our serving. So it's been really great for me. It's just enabled a lot more connection with a lot less time invested in between. So.
They can
Awesome. Thank you, Alannah, for sharing that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so next we have Codi. Let me go ahead and unmute you and spotlight you. You're hot.
Oh, there I am. What's up? This is Codi with Bourgeois Real Estate Group. What I've noticed is we're going to have to start making technology like the normal, because things are just moving quick. I mean, people are going to have to, they're almost going to have to do virtual tours now because properties are moving so fast. I mean, like we're not going to have time anymore for them to do a physical view of the property because they're gone. You know, I mean, like I've had people, you know, call me with interest in a property and it's gone the same day. I mean, so it's like everything is just moving. So time is of the essence.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's what I've noticed. I mean, it's just been an avalanche and everything is just moving fast. Everybody's making decisions on the women. You know, so you got to keep going with it, you know, but technology definitely has to be our normal.
Yeah, and it definitely is becoming more implemented every day. You know, it's that instant gratification type of thing. Now they have that with houses. Like, what? Right. That's crazy. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. All right. So next then we have Peter. I don't know if you have video available, Peter, or not, but I can't spotlight you if you don't have a video. So you can just, oh, there's your video. There you are. Go ahead and unmute yourself because you've muted yourself. So I can't mute.
All right, can you hear me now?
We can.
All right. Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what was just said, I've been having to forced to use the technology now. So I'm very comfortable now doing video calls and doing videos for my clients that need to do showings. I've been having to do that a lot more often, having to figure out how to cut and paste videos so I can fit it in emails and things like that. So I've definitely been able to get used to the video and, you know, doing Zoom calls and stuff like that now, which that was never normal for me. So I come from a background and all this, you know, video conferencing and stuff like that is all new to me. So it's a lot of learning in this first year of real estate for me.
Yeah, definitely. But it's all, I think that this is where our whole world was sort of going, but now it's brought us to the point where it's like, okay, now we've been forced to accept it, but in a good way. You know, everything has its pluses and minuses, and I think that this is only helping our industry be more connected.
And on a positive, I'm glad that it happened early in my career rather than it happened, you know, maybe 10 years when I settled in and figured out, you know, the way I do things. So now I can kind of go along with the flow a little bit easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that, Peter. We appreciate that.
No problem.
All right. So now we're going to go to the lending side. Ooh, wow. So first, we have Carol, and she's going to share with us what she's been seeing. The lending side is such an important side of our industry, and it's so important for buyers, right? Because I mean, I don't know the percentage. Maybe one of you guys know the percentage of how many people when they're purchasing houses are getting mortgages. If one of you have insight on that, please share. But I will go ahead and spotlight Carol right now. So, and then you can unmute yourself.
Unmute. Hey guys, Carol Dols here, Gateway Mortgage. I guess for all of us, we probably felt a lot of the pain in the very beginning when we first started quarantining. We were getting pretty much daily barrages of emails of changes to guidelines or programs or parameters or whatever it was. And I know we're all aware that a lot of the non-QM programs have just kind of gone by the wayside instantly. And for us, we had a little bit of a credit score change with the minimum credit score. Not too bad, but some people I've seen have had them higher, or some have had no changes at all. So for us, it's just been like, you got to make sure you're checking your guidelines daily. And, you know, things like got to verify employment right before closing to make sure they're actively still employed. Or if you're talking to somebody and they're thinking they might get laid off, you want to hold off on getting that mortgage for them. It's just kind of crazy, but I feel like we've been through some things in the past that are worse than this anyways, when it comes to lending. And I just feel like it's a short-term blip that we'll all get through. But just make sure that you check with your lenders that you use on a regular basis to see if there's something that might preclude that person that was already pre-qualified from getting that loan. So that's my 2 cents. And yeah, I'm not good with all these video calls either.
Well, you guys are doing great, okay? You guys are doing great. Hey, it's all about getting out of your comfort zones, right?
Yeah.
And getting a little bit out of there. But, you know, now we can share with the world. We're on Facebook right now, and everybody in the world is, no, I mean, we're not hitting everyone in the world, but it's good. It's good to be able to be connected, I think, at least. So next we're going to hear from Tony Garcia. So I will go ahead and get you on. You have to unmute yourself. Spotlighting your video now.
All right, unmuted. So I have to. Thanks for having me on. Thanks everybody for joining, because most importantly, I think what you're doing is awesome. Local realtors, local lenders, letting people know what's going on in the market. Carol hit things spot on. It's been, as crazy as it is, it's almost been, it was an overnight change for all of us on the lending side. I'll be honest, our jobs are, we're that behind the scenes and a lot of times the bad guys, but try to do our best to look at things otherwise. But overnight, things got flipped on us completely. So like Carol said, a lot of lenders changed their credit scores. Some on FHA that they were doing 580, they went to 640, some 660, some big banks even went to 700 credit scores with minimum payment 20% down for them to do the loan. I know Carol said hers did switch. We actually didn't switch FHA. However, each lender's different. They have made switches. So we did suspend a lot of our bank statement programs, things like that on our end. We even suspended our down payment assistance programs. So we didn't do anything with FHA scores on standard FHA, but there were some other changes. Personally, we have seen the bank statement loans come back on our end with a couple brokers that we have. We do still have our down payment assistance program suspended. So it's been a change. And quite frankly, it's changing every single day. Like Carol said, we literally have to read guidelines like mad men and mad women just to stay on top to make sure we know, because it's changing daily. And it's this time a little different, like Carol said, than last time. Last time it was due to real estate. It was due to the stock market. However, what I've noticed is the buying on my end slowed down. Refis boosted up. I know Amanda said that earlier as well on her end before we got on this call. I've seen a big influx in refi boost. Purchases, I had a couple weeks where I saw kind of a trickle down effect, but it seems people are getting back to it. What's crazy is you realtors are doing an absolute stellar job of using technology to make things happen. I actually don't know if Dana, Amanda, and Carol had seen this, but I've always had a big influx of buyers, and you realtors as well, of people from the Northeast, Midwest, mostly New York, New Jersey, we know, coming down here to buy. It's a hot spot. Seems to be even more, and they're actually stating that it's going to pick up, and that's going to be a bigger trend, that people want to get out of the city, and we have the best place to come, plain and simple. It is what it is, and we can brag about it. But I've seen that be the majority of my buyers now. And I actually got 3 contracts in this week alone that none of them ever saw a house because they've been back in, 2 in New York, 1 in New Jersey, and all 3 of them did a virtual tour. So what you guys are doing on the realtor side with these virtual tours and doing everything you've done, amazing. So besides that, Carol hit on everything. The biggest other thing, and this is a long one to get into, speak with your local lender, because we just had updates come out again yesterday. The term forbearance and loans going into forbearance and people filing forbearance, it's a huge thing that honestly I think was going to impact things maybe worse than it actually is. There's some new updates out. So like Carol said, the biggest thing in the end, if you're looking to buy, stay local with your local realtor, your local lender, and discuss with them what's going on. Any of us are here to give you the information you need. Just make sure you're doing your due diligence and not just getting spun over the phone by somebody that's not willing to provide you the insight in your specific region.
Absolutely.
And that's it.
Absolutely. Spot on with that. I mean, I tell that to people all the time when, you know, it's so quick to go online, right? You're so quick to go online and be like, oh, I can literally talk to anybody in the world, like about mortgages or whatever it might be, or even a realtor or a mortgage company. But the point is like, if you stay local, you know, that person has more interest with you, right? Because then we can hold you accountable. Whether you're a realtor or a mortgage company, you're able to be held more accountable if you're local, which is, I mean, amazing. Like it's better to use local. And I mean, we support local, but we're like mini local businesses, each of us, you know? So it's really important. And I think just connecting those dots. So, all right, now we're going to go to, let's see, we have Sam on here. All right, Amanda, I'm gonna go to Sam first, and then I don't think any other of the other ones came on, and then you can go back to you, Amanda, all right? All right, so Sam, do you have a camera? I can't spotlight you if you don't have a camera on, but you could just speak.
I have a camera.
All right, there you are. Hey, beautiful.
Hi, Sam.
All right, I'll spotlight your video. Give us your take.
So we're talking about the use of like I turn my camera off because I'm driving and like yeah, I'm not up to par. But we're talking about the use of technology now that everything is kind of sticking with social distancing and COVID-19 guidelines and things like that, correct?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So it's just, you know, talking about how it's affected our business, how we've persevered in this time, and how we've, you know, made it something that's beneficial for our industry.
Yeah, definitely. What I've found is that it is definitely beneficial because it still gives you the opportunity to kind of keep in contact with your customers and the people that you are trying to kind of cultivate and get to the basically throughout the process. But it does pose as a challenge when you're working with like the older adults that aren't familiar with technology. So that's the only obstacle that I've kind of ran into, kind of getting around that part of it all. But outside of that, I think it's great because it does give us the opportunity to kind of keep pushing forward, even though like things are changing on a day-to-day basis, on an everyday basis, rather.
Absolutely. I think that's why it's important to have this weekly segment that we can really just update them on any changes or intimate changes that are happening in our industry, and they can get that. Thank you so much, Sam, for telling us a little bit about your perspective.
You're welcome. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have a whole lot to say. I'm driving, but I'm still like tuned in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Amanda, going back to you. So you got to unmute yourself.
Okay. And I will just forewarn you, my dog has come in, so she might jump across the screen at any time.
That is A-okay. We like dogs. We have an office dog. We're okay with that.
I know.
Doggo.
Seriously, her timing's impeccable. I really just wanted to back what Carol and Tony said. Absolutely, it's such a learning curve at the moment. Everything changes constantly, and one day you get your head around one thing, and then the next day it's like, what? It's changed again, and it's just a crazy roller coaster. The online has been awesome. So a lot of my clients are using our online application. So that's great, and it's been seamless. Going off what Tony said with regards to the forbearance, there's been so much uncertainty around how that's going to be dealt with, how it impacts people's credit. I mean, just today, we've been told that as long as people start to make the mortgage payments now, we can start to do applications for people, whether it's a purchase or a refinance, as long as they're now starting to make those mortgage payments again. So that's a great sign. With the FHA, the whole credit score before this COVID came into play, we were in the low 500s with FHA applications, and now we're at 620. We were 680, but we're down to 620. And again, it's changing constantly. So as everybody else has said, the most important thing is just to reach out to your lender and check where things are at, just to make sure you still qualify. We've got, as Carol mentioned, with the verification of employment, 3 days prior to closing, we have to do another income verification to make sure that they've still got a job, it's the same job, and they're still receiving the same rates of pay. So it's crazy, all the checks that we've got to go through. And then from a company point of view, for us with the Sterling Mortgage Group, what we've just done recently is we have taken on board new local appraisers. So locally for us in the Treasure Coast, we've got more local appraisers on board now that are willing to go out and actually do appraisals, which is a great thing. And yeah, that's it. I think Carol and Tony covered a lot of it already, but it's just so important. Reach out to your lender and make sure that you still qualify and support local business.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Amanda. All right. Rodina, we are going to hear from you now. I'm going to ahead and spotlight your video.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to address, I know a lot of technology. Thankfully, our company, Keller Williams, they basically went ahead and spent millions on technology right before coronavirus. So we were able to start our command prior, and I had done a lot of training prior to this whole thing happening. So I'm thankful that I was able to get training so that I'm able to, I'm learning how to market myself, make flyers on my own. We're connecting with our clients via command. There's a way of pitting different neighborhoods and just keeping in touch with them. And birthdays, anniversaries, keeping in touch with them and addressing those, special events in their lives. So I'm happy that I'm part of a company that has invested that money so that we are set up very well right now for this crisis that's happening virtually. And we are having our virtual trainings. We're still doing trainings. We're still learning, we're keeping up with what's happening in this time. I have noticed that motivation when it comes to selling has definitely changed because the pandemic has placed a lot of fear in owners, because especially if they're planning to move to another state, different states are doing different things. So I've noticed a lot of my listings and owners it's kind of complicated for them to make plans if they're trying to move out of state right now. So that has slowed down a lot with listings. Of course, there are people that are locally still selling their house. If it's a local transaction, I'm noticing our locals are still very motivated to sell. However, if it's something where they have to move to another state, it's a little bit more complicated, and they're wanting to kind of wait off on that and kind of like see what's happening with the country before they make any out of state moves. So I am seeing a change in that. And then with the buyers, virtual tours have been great. However, not every single buyer is into the virtual tours, because there are people that really need to get a feel of the house, the neighborhood, that really just want to have that feeling of, seeing how everything is placed when it comes to the layout of the home and the square footage and how big master bedrooms are and backyard. All that matters to some people. So I've noticed that there's a few that are okay with virtual tours. My out-of-state buyers are okay with that. Like those that are in New York, I do work with a lot of out-of-state buyers from New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and the New England region. So they're okay with doing virtual tours right now, but our locals still want to go out. So we still have to take precautions. We still have to wear masks. We still have to, wear gloves when we go to these showings, because of course we are going out there and exposing ourselves. So, but yes, that's pretty much what I'm, noticing with our, market right now. And then also buyers, like I wanted to say for the buyers, don't be afraid to buy right now, because this is still a good opportunity to buy. I recently reviewed one of my buyers' settlement statements, and I was just looking at certain things through their mortgage and stuff. And I know I'm not a mortgage lender, I'm in real estate, but I do, review certain things for my buyers, and I'm seeing the interest rates are low. These are all-time low interest rates. So this, some people are like, oh, I have to wait, or, do you think the market is going to like go down more, or do you think we're going to crash like we did back in 2008, 2009? Well, it's too soon to tell what's going to happen exactly with the market, but don't be afraid to make a purchase because of what's happening in the economy, especially if you're a local, So that's what I've been trying to express to the buyers right now, because this is a great opportunity for them to buy at low interest rates. So
absolutely, that was some great insight. Thank you, Rodina.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think she touched on some good points. Yeah, interest rates are really low right now, as we've seen, and lenders can agree with that, I would think. It's just our industry right now is ever changing, and a lot of people keep comparing it to that 2008 crisis. But one thing I do want to mention is that this is a healthcare crisis. This is not a real estate crisis like it was in 2008. That was happening for a completely different reason. So that's why we're seeing a completely different perspective now. And our industry is, as you guys I'm sure can mention, is like we've still been going pretty strong. Things have changed. Things are changing in a different way, where we're trying to adjust to the technological changes, making sure everybody's safe. But business has still been business. And we have still been chugging along this whole time while COVID-19 has been going on, because a lot of us work from home. So I think that's a very important aspect to bring up, that no, buyers shouldn't be afraid to buy right now, because this is a great opportunity to get a good price. Like, why not? So that was a great point. Next we have Isabel. So you are up, Isabel. I'm going to spotlight you now.
Oh, hi everybody. I don't know. Can you guys see me? I'm really little. It's like my computer is facing. I've been laughing. Ignore me. I kind of came in after everybody had spoken, but I agree with everyone. I think we're all kind of going through the same thing. Like we do. We've always kind of been social media based. So I personally actually have seen an increase in my business because of it. Because now I don't have to go out and socialize physically anymore. And I concentrate most of my time in online, just answering questions, being a resource, and it's helped keep our business really strong through all of the changes, and trying to be, like you said, just giving out really good, solid information as it comes along, because this is new to everybody, but we're like everyone else, we're just adapting. That's all you can do. Keep it light, keep it tight, and keep it moving.
Adapt and overcome. Yes. Awesome. Thank you as well. Yeah, so those are some really great points that you guys have brought up just in general of like technology is huge right now and video is huge right now. Look, we're on video. But you know, it's affected our industry and now we can get information in just a different way. So just giving that information and that education to people, I think is what they want. They want that at the end of the day and they want it in the easiest way possible. So now we're going to go into part two. Part two is going to be, I want you guys to give your number one tip right now for buyers.
Hey, Lucy, remember me?
Oh, Dana, I'm so sorry. What happened? Oh, I went to the, oh, geez, I'm so sorry. I was, you know, that was a test. Haha. Yeah, there we go. All right, let me go and spotlight your, Dana, thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and give your amazing opinion. I would love to hear it.
Yes, thank you so much. So we talked about a lot of different things. And, you know, as far as overall, you know, everybody was spot on. My biggest issue with everything is that we have an expert in, you know, healthcare, economy, lenders, realtors, everybody's an expert. And, you know, people give out information. So, you know, the media and everybody's saying, you know, forbearance, like you will be forgiven. Well, it has other effects. So, what everybody else was saying is spot on, you know, and I think in the industry, even if you have a lender that you've spoken to, maybe you haven't gotten any deals with, but just call us up before any action is taken by the borrower. You know, you don't want to say, you know, today it sounds like forbearance is great, and then by the time they apply, it's terrible. As far as interest rates go, they change so fast, hourly, daily, weekly. You know, earlier this week, there was talks of a possible vaccine and the stocks rallied and everything was great and pricing was not as good as it was, you know, the day before. And then the vaccine failed and didn't pass all of those tests, and now rates are back down. So, you know, when we talk about rates, locking, you know, what's going to happen, I have no idea. We have some people, we have like the treasurer secretary that wants to reopen everything right away. We have the chairman of the Federal Reserve that wants to keep giving financial aid. Financial aid from the government will keep interest rates low. Reopening the economy will rally stocks and will increase interest rates. So, you know, we just don't know. There's a lot of opposing opinions. Last thing that I want to touch on is, you know, just kind of piggybacking off of what Rodina said, as far as waiting and possibly looking for more of a bottom to drop out. And, you know, I just don't see it. And Lucy, you mentioned that too. Can you hear me? Okay. So, you know, as far as the issue being a healthcare issue and not a housing issue, that's absolutely spot on, where, you know, we're not foreclosing, lenders aren't foreclosing, judges aren't signing off on foreclosures. You're not going to have that, you know, situation. A lot of people are experiencing a hardship because of unemployment, and that's a real issue. So you probably won't see residential foreclosures, but you probably will see commercial foreclosures. You know, the commercial side of real estate is really going to be hurting, but, you know, that can't necessarily, you know, help us on the residential side. So, you know, with things changing constantly, you know, you guys are all resources to me, and, you know, we're all resources to you. So, you know, just kind of sharing our thoughts and opinions, I think, can only make us stronger.
Absolutely. That was an awesome addition. I really appreciate that, Dana. I got like cut out there for a second. I was super worried. I thought that you guys like totally went away because my internet went down for like 2 seconds. That was a great, what was that? That was a great addition. It's super important just to have the information out there. And I really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing this with people, because I know that people out there want to hear about what you guys have to say. It's so important. And, you know, each week we're going to be talking about different things and maybe honing on one subject, so that people can get a better idea of what they can do to be prepared for those moving forward. But right now, just getting an overall lay of like what's going on in our market for buyers and on the lending side. So now we'll go into part 2, where each of you, I want you guys to give your #1 tip for buyers right now in our industry. Just give a little tip. Again, this is top tips in real estate. So Antonella, if you'd like to share your hot tip for the week.
Yes, Lucy, thank you. My #1 tip at this point, I think, will be to reach out. So whoever has a little, even remote thought in their mind of maybe I want to buy a house at this moment, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if my finances are in order. I'm not sure if my credit score is where it should be. My #1 tip will be reach out to a real estate agent, reach out to somebody that can help you, and, you know, a lender, just like Tony said, and all of the other lenders on the panel are saying, there's different programs out there, and there's different lenders out there that are offering a loan at a different credit score. So don't be afraid to open the conversation and start a conversation with somebody. And you know, even if you're not ready to buy today and you're not ready to buy in the next 30 days, just start a conversation and make sure that maybe you put those ducks in a row and start putting those ducks in a row, where if it is 30 days from, 3 months from today or 6 months from today, you will get ready, and you will be ready, you know, whenever your timeline is to buy at that time and point, you know, at that point in time, sorry. But yeah, so that would be just my #1 tip, like reach out and make sure that, you know, you open the conversation, you start the dialogue, because like we are seeing at the moment, and everybody is, you know, confirming, there are people coming from out of state that they don't care if the house looks in a certain way, or they just, you know, they're investors, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, that's a perfect price point for me, so sure, I'll buy it. So just don't let the opportunity slip away just because you don't know if you can buy or not. So that's it. Just, you know, reach out, and we're here for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Antonella. That was great.
Thank you.
All righty. Next, Alannah. Spotlighting you now.
Awesome. Well, I love that, Antonella, and I'm going to take it one step further, because that's exactly the track I wanted to go on. Get yourself connected to a professional, and don't wait till you find the perfect house, the one that's just right, that you love, to start getting things lined up, because there is no worse, more sinking feeling than thinking you found the one and having it slip through your fingers because you didn't already have a relationship developed with a professional helping you line up, so that when that perfect home became available, you were able to put an offer in on it immediately. You don't necessarily want your friend to be, you know, the one who's helping you interview people, learn who's going to serve you best. And if you already have a relationship before you find that perfect house, that's given you some pretty solid time to screen who you're working with and decide if that's the kind of person that you want guiding your journey from start to finish during that process of either selling or buying.
Awesome. That's a great tip. Thank you, Alannah.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right. So next is Codi. You're unmuted and I spotlighted your video. All right. What's your #1 tip?
I actually have 2. I'm going to piggyback off of what was just said here. You should try not to avoid realtors, because I've got, you know, clients who try to get information from other websites, and they ended up end up being bad information, scams sometimes. I mean, we're going to try to give you the best information we can. And we can give you accurate information. I mean, and even if you find things on these other websites, I mean, we can investigate. We have resources that we can investigate to make sure everything is everything. So, you know, don't try to avoid the realtor. We're here for a reason, and we can help you with what you need to do. The other thing would be to be decisive and be realistic. You know, like I said before, everything is happening so quickly. You know, you can't like something today and expect that it's going to be waiting for you next week. It just doesn't happen that way anymore. Everything is so fast. You got people moving here from other places now because of the pandemic. There's so much competition out there. So, you know, you have to make a decision quickly, and you have to also be realistic about the market as well. I mean, you know, we're going to give you the information as we see it and what's exactly going on in the market here. So you can't not like the information that we're giving you and make up your own. So just, you know, trust your realtor, develop a relationship with one that you like, and trust the information that they're giving you. And, you know, that's about it. Just be quick, be decisive, be realistic.
I love that, Codi. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That was great. Great advice. All right, Peter, you're up.
I'm here.
I'm spotlighting your video now.
I guess my biggest tip to buyers would be to be in constant communication with your realtor and your lender, especially right now because information is coming in so quickly and changing so fast. I mean, there could be more information that their lender needs from you. There could be, you know, a number of other different things that you just need to be making sure that you're always keeping in concert with all the real estate professionals that you're doing business with. It makes it a much easier transition from, you know, home visitor to home buyer if you make sure that you're always staying up on what you need to know in order to purchase. There's like a big misunderstanding, I believe, also between people that are being affected by the virus, both financially and personally. And I think people just need to make sure to take a step back sometimes and think outside the box, because just because it's affecting a lot of people doesn't mean it's affecting everyone. So any kind of issues that you may have, if you have questions about your sale, just make sure that you're always in communication with both your lender and your realtor during this time.
That's great. I love that. You guys are killing it with the tips right now. All right, Carol, from a lender's perspective, give us a tip.
My number one tip for anybody that's out there watching this video that's thinking about buying a home and getting pre-qualified is please do not rely on Credit Karma for your credit score. This is a hot topic, comes up probably almost daily, where they're so assured that their credit score, you know, I had one today, oh yeah, my score is 737. And it was a 662. That's a big difference between somebody wanting to buy a jumbo property and dude, you can't even qualify hardly for an FHA. So that's my number one tip. I know pretty much everybody listening that's a lender on this video can agree with me on that. So just don't rely on Credit Karma. Get in touch with your lender as soon as possible if you're thinking about buying a home, because we will set you straight.
I love it. That's great. Thanks, Carol. All right, Tony, you're it.
I'm gonna have to piggyback, and I have a feeling it's gonna keep me hitting piggyback.
This is a big piggyback ride.
My biggest thing, Carol's so spot on with that. The other thing is also a lot of those online calculators, while she's looking at the online and Credit Karma, the online calculators with taxes, they go off a national average. So you're looking at some of the averages they'll input in there are off national averages for property taxes, same as homeowners insurance. And a lot of times they calculate it with 20% down. So somebody comes to you running the calculator and they're totally different. So I wanted to hit on that, but The biggest thing I think as far as looking at buyer perspective is don't wait. The realtors on this call, the lenders as well, but the realtors know from what we're seeing data-wise, and us lenders receive these updates as well. And I know we've all been so involved in every aspect of our industry now to be professionals in all. I don't get into numbers when it comes to the realtor side. However, waiting, the cost of waiting, if you come to a lender, if you're looking to wait a year for a price on a home possibly to drop $3,000, you're likely going to be spending more money by waiting and continuing to pay rent than getting into a house and building equity. Start building equity for yourself. Rates are so low. Do we know how long they're going to be there? No, like Dana said earlier, it's a roller coaster ride. The uncertainty right now, we don't know where they're going to be at tomorrow. Do we have a good gauge? Do we have all the tools to try to utilize it? Yes, but they're low right now. Get in, be prepared is kind of the biggest tip. Be prepared that if you're going to be ready to make an offer and rates are low, that you have done all your due diligence. You can put that offer in and you're not coming to one of our fantastic realtors here saying, oh, hey, I found this beautiful house I want and I want to put an offer in. Well, are you pre-approved? Because it's not, a lot of times, and I'll be honest, I don't know if other lenders get this, a lot of the buyer's agents that send us clients, a lot of times they get, well, they said I need a pre-approval first. This doesn't make sense. I just want to put an offer in on this house and see it. Well, you got to look at it from the other aspect. A seller of that home does not want to accept an offer, take their house off of market for you not wanting to do your due diligence and make sure that you have your ducks in a row and actually qualify. Especially right now in this market, inventory is low. I'll let some of the realtors speak on that. Inventory is low. So they're going to get buyers in there that want those homes. You have to be prepared and ready to rock and roll when you find that house you want. So that would be the biggest thing, and be patient because all of us are going through this together. It's a time of uncertainty. Things change daily. As long as we're doing our jobs and being upfront and kind of voicing and explaining to the clients the daily changes, things are going to continue to change until we get back to some type of normalcy. I know we're there. We're probably, I hate the term, I'm not going to lie, the new normal, but it is going to be a new normal and we have to be prepared for that. And we just have to make sure we're doing our due diligence, but clients need to do the same to understand the full benefit to be ready on their end as well.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you, Tony. Again, you guys are killing with the tips. All right, Amanda, go ahead. You're up.
Yeah, I'm going to continue this piggyback because it's huge. It is so true. Carol, Credit Karma kills me. So that is a great tip. Do not trust Credit Karma because it is just not accurate at all. And certainly, please just make sure you build a great relationship with your lender. Make sure you've got a pre-approval before you go out there looking for these homes. Because as Tony said, and the realtors will vouch for it, inventory is so low, you don't want to waste people's time and lose your dream home because you've not done your homework first. So build those relationships with the lenders, get your pre-approval so that you're ready to get your offer in and get it accepted. And that's it from me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amanda. All right. So next we've got Sam Young. I don't know if I can't spotlight your video unless you're on, but if are you still here?
Is anyone alive out there?
Anyone out there? All right, well, I'll skip her for now if she decides she's still on here, but then we'll go to Rodina. Rodina, I'm spotlighting your video now.
All right, so one of the biggest tips that I want to give the buyers right now is that there is no better opportunity for a buyer to get a good deal on a home than now. Sellers are especially the ones that are motivated to sell are more likely willing to work up a deal with you in these uncertain times. So do not be afraid, guys. Don't be afraid to step out. And, if you're looking to buy a home, do not be afraid in these times to buy one, because I'm telling you, those sellers that are motivated to sell, they are willing to make a deal. They are willing right now. This is the time. So I just wanted to let those buyers out there know, don't allow fear to take over and say, I don't know what's going on with the market. Reach out to your realtor and discuss these things with them, and reach out to your lenders out there, because all it takes is a conversation. That's all it takes is a conversation. So that's my biggest tip.
I love that. It's perfect. Thank you. All right. And then we've got Isabel, Isabel. Yeah. All right. Making sure I'm not forgetting this line. Go down the list. Spotlight in your video now.
I would say that for me, I think that people have to understand that housing is essential. So I don't care if you're renting or buying or owning, it doesn't matter. You still need to have a place to live. And to be honest with you, when you own your own home, you have more options. If I'm a tenant and I can't pay my rent, they're putting me on the street. If I own my own house, I can move into my master bedroom and rent out all my other rooms. Or if anybody is watching this, I will build out a garage, convert that into a room, put an AC unit and move in there and rent the whole house. I have options when the home belongs to me. Whereas when you're a tenant, you're paying the landlord rent. The moment you stop paying, get your shit and go. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. But the reality is there's so much power in home ownership. And I think that so many times people get, like lost in that. And they're like, oh my God, the market's going to crash. Okay. So what? Like, we've been through this a bunch of times before. So it always kind of shocks me that people are so taken aback. Like, this is not the first rodeo. Like, I'm 40. I think I've been through at least 10 of these already, and for sure 5 that I can remember as an adult. So it's kind of one of those things. Housing is essential. Do not be afraid. It is more expensive to rent than it is to own. And you have less options when you're a tenant than you do when you are an owner. So simply put, buy a house. Yay!
I love that. Thank you. Such good tips from everyone. All right, Dana, you are up.
Okay, so my tip for everybody is to kind of get comfortable with the virtual world. For listing agents, have an opportunity to have a virtual tour. What Alannah is doing and the other realtors on the call to drive around and show people the area, I think that's awesome. Because just in my experience, everybody has a different level of comfort when it comes to precautions for the virus. Even though maybe I don't feel so scared, I have to respect that people want to buy or they want to do an application and they don't want to meet me in person. So, finding a strength with video, with social media, with Zoom calls and things like that, and getting comfortable here and growing from here to kind of make yourself, versatile in any environment, whether you're meeting in person, whether you're meeting on a virtual platform. I think that basically just get comfortable with, finding different ways to get out information so that, we can respect the people that aren't ready to fully open.
I love that. That's great. That's a great tip. All right. So, Sam, are you there? No? If you end up getting there, let me know. But I do want to mention really quick to everybody that is watching right now, pay attention to the people that are on this call right now, because these people are the ones who are they have dedicated an hour out of their life to educate you on what's going on. And they're the ones that are leading this industry into the direction that it needs to be in, and making sure that you're educated and helping you in every which way, because they are now taking time out of their day to share with you what's going on. And I truly appreciate all of you guys' time. I know that a couple of people have quick announcements, and I don't want to make this go over an hour. So I know that Isabel had an announcement, so I'm going to go to her really quick. And if you guys have an announcement, let me know in the chat.
Okay, mine's more fun. I am doing a happy hour tomorrow on Facebook because I just want to see everybody. I'm like so bored out of my mind. So tomorrow at 5 o'clock, bring your own beer or wine, whatever you like, and meet me on Facebook tomorrow. I just need to see some other humans.
I love it. Humans, show yourself.
Is it Facebook
All
Live,
right, and-
Isabel?
It's one of the little group thingies that they're doing now. I'm gonna start the little group. I'll be there at 5
Facebook
o'clock
groups?
tomorrow. So if I'm drunk when you show up, it's probably because I've been drinking all day.
I love it. I love it. That's hilarious. All right, Antonella, you are, and just so you guys know, whoever is watching right now, you can contact all of these people on their Facebook pages. It is in the description of this video, so you'll be able to get in contact with each person who's on here. Antonella, you had a quick announcement as well.
I do. I actually picked up a quick rental a week ago. So I do have a rental. If anybody's in the market looking for a rental, it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath on a C24 canal. So if you have jet skis or fast boats, or you would like to go sweetwater fishing, you can do that. It's not ocean access, but you can go fast. So.
All right, cool. Martin,
How much, Antonella? How much is it?
$2,200.
Okay, awesome.
It's a pretty big house, so the price is definitely matches the whole property. I don't have pictures because it's still under renovation, but it will be there soon, hopefully.
Awesome, thank you. So you guys heard it first here. Awesome. Well, thank you everyone who is on Facebook right now watching. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you everyone who is on this call right now for giving your dedicated time for this hour. We will be back next Thursday. Thursday's Top Tips in Real Estate, where you guys will learn about what's going on with the real estate market right now from the best people in the industry. All right, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and bye, Facebook.
Bye.
See.